Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Album Homework Assignment. In the captain's chairs today, we've got Jack Toledano and Anthony Ferraro. Greetings, gentlemen. How are you?
Morning, Pete. Morning, Jack.
Morning, Anthony. Good morning, Pete. How you guys doing on this fine Sunday morning?
It's rainy here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some reviews and some albums you guys have never heard before. I've been sitting here wondering all week, it's like, well, I know what both of you like, and I'm sure they're each going to give each other albums from the genres they really like, which the other may not be familiar with. And am I on the right track here? Perhaps, probably.
Well, I don't say the album he gave, the band he gave me, I'm very familiar with, but the album I was not familiar with.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Well, that's awesome. A good thing.
Great. That's awesome. So they're each going to present the album that they were given. They're going to talk about what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it. In the end, I will ask the question, would you consider buying it? Would you just listen to it online, stream it, whatever? Or would you, after this assignment, forget about it, never listen to it again? So Anthony, I'm going to have you go first. What was your assignment from Jack?
Okay. The guy below me who's in the Judas Priest shirt gave me Accept. What is it? Blood of the Nations, and it's from 2010. It's the first album since 1996. It's the first album that they recorded without Udo, the infamous Udo Dirfschneider, who led Accept to prominence in the 80s with the big hit Balls to the Wall, and then a couple years later, I think a minor hit with Midnight Mover, which I think it has a really cool harmony to it. But getting back to the 2010 release, it was released on Nuclear Blast, and they had their lead singer Mark Tornillo, who's their current lead singer right now. And in a way, I think they both kind of mirror each other. I mean, Udo had that sound. Mark has a sound where it's a little bit raspy, in my opinion, very upfront, very in your face. One thing I noticed about this record that I didn't really take notice probably in the 80s or 90s about Accept is the twin dual guitars. I mean, it's very, as Jack would say, Judas Priest reminiscent of. I mean, very, very, very reminiscent and very, very melodic, very heavy, just in unison all the time. So they sound great. They sound like Tipton and they sound like Tipton and KK. So the album he gave me was Blood of the Nations from 2010. Very heavy record. I guess my problem with Mark is it's almost like he's trying to force it a little bit too much. I mean, it's a heavy record. There's one kind of like ballady that opens. It's called I think it's called Kill the Pain. I think that's what it's called. Kill the Pain. Yep. That track, I think that's my favorite on the record. It opens up kind of like a slow melodic tune, and then it kind of gets a little heavy, but I think that's Mark's best singing on the whole record. The rest of the tracks, it's a heavy record. If you're in that Accept and kind of like a ballsy heavy record, it's there. Mark's voice for me is a little bit hit or miss sometimes. Like Beat the Bastards and The Abyss. I thought there were tunes that really started to get, at the beginning we're like, wow, these are good tunes to start out with, and then as he gets higher and raspier, and it's almost like he's trying to strangle you with his vocals. So I believe that Kill the Pain, which was track 8, was definitely my favorite. Loved it. In fact, I thought, wow, I wish you could sing like this on more of the record. So that's kind of like my review of it. It has 12 or 13 tracks. It's definitely a heavy record. I'm sure it's balls to the wall live. But I have to go with track 8, Kill the Pain, is my favorite.
Well, yeah, I think one of the reasons why Mark works so well in this band, because he's in a lot of ways very similar to Udo, and they wanted to kind of continue, that's Accept fans want that kind of sound. So I think They both have that raspy, gravelly thing going, and I think that's why he works so well in the band. But it's not for everybody, just like Udo wasn't for everybody, right? And it's like you got to be into that sort of thing.
But I wanted to add a side conversation that Anthony and I had when we were setting this up. Yeah. So when I mentioned that it was so first Anthony asked me if it was the follow-up to Balls to the Wall. I'm like, no, this is well after. This is Mark Tonillo on vocals. So he asked me if I was cheating on Udo. So my response to that, I'm going to show you if you guys can see this.
Oh, cool.
This was about 4 or 5 years ago when Udo played a show in Midtown Manhattan, and basically it was an all accept show. And this was, yeah, it's like 5 or 6 years ago. I remember running into Steve Keeler online. It was ridiculously inexpensive for a meet and greet along with the ticket. It was like 85, so I jumped at it, and it was great. I mean, he didn't say 2 words because I think he was trying to save his voice for the show, but it was really cool meeting him.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I remember that tour because he played like all the Accept classics. Right. Supposedly for the last time, but we'll see about that.
Supposedly, yeah.
We'll see. So Anthony, the question is, would you consider buying this? Would you maybe listen to it online occasionally, or would you kind of not bother with it and forget about it?
I think I would listen to it online occasionally. I think if it was a different singer, maybe if it was Udo, I don't know, but I really do like the instrumentation. I think the twin guitars are fantastic, and I really enjoy that Kill the Pain tune a lot.
Yeah, Wolf Hoffman is a great guitar player. And how do you like the production on that album?
It was a little muddy. I thought it was a little muddy, but it was almost like the guitars were up front. You didn't hear a lot of bass, but I know that's what they were going after. But they should have given Steven Wilson a call. Hint, hint.
Well, I will say this: it's actually Andy Sneap who now has replaced Glenn Tipton on stage for Judas Priest.
Yeah,
produced it, and then
okay.
When I heard that he was actually going to work with Tom Allom to produce Firepower for Judas Priest, I was very excited. Of course, again, I'm more of a straightforward metal guy, and that album is it for me.
Andy's got a signature production style. Most of the albums that he works on sound like that. Anthony said it perfectly. It's big in your face, and the guitars are way up front. It's like a wall of crunch. That's what Andy's all about. So you either like that or you don't like it. It's I know a lot of people who can't stand his production style. So it's I like it. I personally.
I'm not one. I like his
production. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, Jack, how did the Accept fan base community accept that release?
That's a very good question.
Pretty good.
Funny thing is, I would say it's mixed. So one of my very first Zooms that I did with Pete was actually an Accept top 10. And I know one viewer wrote in, he was all pissed off because I picked 7 out of 10. Tornillo era.
Oh, okay.
Now, hopefully I've remedied that. What Pete did back in April was he did this series of dream set lists. So I put some dream set lists of my own in my Spotify. So I thought I would give Udo more equal time. So I did a set for Udo and a set for Mark, and it's great. And anybody out there who's interested and has Spotify, they can go into my playlists and find it. It's wonderful.
It's amazing. His Balls to the Wall was everywhere, but I think I came across Midnight Mover maybe a couple months ago, and I thought to myself, how did I miss this tune? I thought that was a really cool tune.
That's a great
It might have been a minor hit. I don't know, but it has a cool harmony.
Yeah.
The Udo song that I love the most is Fast as a Shark. I mean, you can't beat that.
And Anthony, I think to answer your question, I think by now that they've done, Jack, was it 5 albums with Mark, right? Yes. I think the fan base has totally embraced him, but you know what it is? It's like Wolf Hoffman is the only original member left. Right. So I think there's part of the old fan base who is like, all right, Accept has become like a cover band, because that's how people are these days. And they now follow Udo in anything he does. But I think that the casual, Accept fan has accepted him. He's now part of the band. They've released 5 albums, all 5 really, really good. So, and I think, too, Accept's relationship with Udo was like on and off for a bunch of years. I mean, he would come and go from the band like every couple of years. They break up, he'd come back, they bring some other guy in briefly, and then I think at this point he's been out of the band for so long. It's like, and he's doing his own thing. He's got his own band. So yeah, I think most folks who have stuck with Accept are completely fine with the current lineup and with Mark as a vocalist. I mean, he's great live, great singer. Live.
Now, Jack, after the '96 record with Udo, were they just not playing? Were they like in recluse for like 14 years, or were they actually touring at least? Or
Yeah, right. Well, basically what happened was they met up with Mark, and they jammed some songs together. They liked the result, and they decided to put an album together. And you know what a hell of a way to start off with a new singer. Because for me, that I know Pete has asked the question, what would be your 10 island, marooned island records that you would bring to, and that's definitely one of them for me. I can also tell you, I've seen them about 3 or 4 times with Mark Tonillo, and the crowd was very into it every time.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
No-
they're a
no
bulldozer
issues there.
live. Yeah.
Well, and with except you still have the appeal of the lead guitar player. I mean, that's got to be some appeal.
I mean,
For
Wolf
some
is the
fans.
man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's the founder, right? He's the man. So yeah, he's still
And-
part.
Mark has embraced a lot of the old Udo songs.
That's cool.
So there's that too. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All righty. So we got a thumbs up in the middle there, I guess. So we'll move on to Jack. So what was your assignment here?
Okay, so Pete, I know you have a vast catalog of Prog albums in your head. So does this one ring a bell for you? It's by a band called Con, Space Shanty.
Yes, indeedy. I have it.
Okay, that was mine. So basically, like I said, I had to put some notes together because and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some fun, I like to call them fun facts. I do this at work also, but just to kind of give you a little background. Con, they're an English progressive rock band of the Canterbury scene during 71, 72. The album was released in 72. Decca's refusal to commit to the release of a second album led to Steve Hillage to break up the band and join a band called Gong. Now, me, unfortunately, as I told Anthony, I'm more of a straightforward metal guy, and I'm not very well versed with progressive rock. After say Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and some Jethro Tull. I don't really know King Crimson or Genesis too much of their catalog, and I know Pete, you like Gentle Giant.
Jack, you're a heavy guy. You love your metal. You have to
Right.
check out King. I know this could be for another show, but you have to check out King Crimson Red. It'll blow your balls off. I mean,
Yeah, I would
Fred's
agree.
guitar will blow your balls off.
I have heard the first album, In the Court of the Crimson King. So
It's totally different.
Yeah,
It's
red
totally
is
different.
very heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
right. But on a positive note, I am a huge fan, thanks in large part to John Lord of Deep Purple. I love the sound of the Hammond organ. So that really was a bonus for me listening to this. So okay, so basically I'm just going to go song by song. I gave each song there were originally 6 songs, and then there was a re-release in 2004 where they added 2 more songs, 2 shorter songs. The first song right off the bat, the title track Space Shanty, was a definite highlight for me. So I rated each song. This on a scale of 1 through 5, Space Shanty got a 4.5 for me. Slower paced in the beginning, great interspersed Hammond organ and lots of it. The guitar parts actually remind me a little of Martin Bear, Jethro Tull from the Benefit album. There's even a little Ace Frehley in there for me at the 428 mark, with that little guitar thing that he does. Yeah. So as for the organ, reminds some of Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer at about the 450 mark. I really love the keyboard at the 6-minute mark. I wish I could hum it for you, but I can't. But definite highlight for me. Stranded, the second song, a little bit of a slower pace throughout, more electric and acoustic guitar in this one, a little bit heavier. I wasn't surprised. I was a little surprised. I love the bright piano interludes. Actually, it reminds me of an album called Fly From Here by Yes, which I almost heard by accident. A friend of mine from work, Rob, get well soon, by the way, lent me this album. And yeah, so that's how I was able to put that frame of reference together. The third song is Mixed Up Man of the Mountains was my other highlight. I gave that a 4.5. I'm sorry, backtracking. Stranded was a 3.5. Slow build of guitar and organ until the 1 minute mark, then takes off. Keyboard actually reminds of the first and third Boston albums after the 1 minute mark. Bit of a sound like the song Holly Ann, where it goes something like that. Exemplary keyboard and bass work around the 3:30 mark. And that's going to be a theme for me, a recurring theme. I think instrumentally, I think I like the bass player and the keyboard the best in the band. I mean, Steve Hillage wrote some great songs, but the guitar, and to take a quote from Duncan Glenday, you remember that name. He actually reviewed this album back in 2005. So what does he say? The whole is so much more than the sum of its parts. Everything works together so perfectly that, what does he say? Okay, no solos, no vocal delivery, none of the melodies, no flashes of brilliance. But yet then he said, yeah, the sum of the parts are, greater than the whole. So, I mean, instrumentally, it's great. I've never been one for really lyrical content. So I was always more focused on the music, which especially songs 1 and 3, Space Shanty and Mixed Up Man of the Mountains. I love those. Driving to Amsterdam got a 4. Some of that keyboard actually reminded me of Kansas. Winds up to a heavier crescendo at the end, which was really nice. Song number 5, Stargazers, not to be confused with the Rainbow Song. Again, a little bit more of Kansas sounding prog. Song not bad, but everything before it has been a little better so far. Hollow Stone, I gave a 3.5. Break the Chain, which was one of the latest added songs to the re-release, that got a 4. Mixed Up Man of the Mountain, first version. I definitely like the 7-minute version better. Ooh, there's a kitty.
Yeah, he's always
Makes an appearance all the time.
So overall, I would rate it like a 3.8 out of 5. So I think that's pretty good for somebody who didn't really have much prog reference. I do like prog. I just can't absorb the music at the rate Pete does. That's
nobody can.
Well, I've got decades of practice, Jack. So it's,
I know.
Now, Jack, here's a geeky fact. I was reading in the liner notes. I bought this album probably like 2000. I got into Hillage probably about 2005, and I found this album about 2006, 2007. But in the liner notes, Khan actually opened up for Genesis on the Foxtrot tour in first couple months of the tour. I can imagine what that would have been like. Just mind-blowing.
That's cool. So,
but Dave Stewart, a heck of a keyboard player. He played with Khan, and he was in Gong. No, he wasn't in Gong. He was in the Hatfield in the North. He was in National Health. He played with Bruford. So he has a lot of prog lineage.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Anthony. So something else in my liner notes, my notes is basically, I never would have heard of Khan or this album if it wasn't for the fact that you recommended it to me. How did you discover Khan?
Just digging on the internet, geeking around and saying, hey, well, is there anything else out there? And I think I saw the reviews on Amazon. I was like, well, when I had Hillage and Stewart, I thought, well, I got to buy this. It's going to be good. And when I played it, I was like, it was amazing.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a super group. So like if you stumble upon any of those musicians in some of the other bands that they were in, you find out about these guys and that they only released the one album. So they're one of the classic like one album wonders of the 70s in Prague. So most people, this album is kind of like that hidden gem that, what could have been if it stayed together to sort of thing.
But I agree with Duncan. I mean, basically, instruments together and they sound great. I instrumentally, I think it's really good.
Dave Stewart plays on Hillage's first solo record from 1975 called Fish Rising, and just together, I think those two together just make beautiful magic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, Jack, if you, because Hillage, I know you mentioned that you like the keyboards and the bass the most out of all the players on there. If you want to hear Hillage, for me anyway, I think in his zone, the album that Anthony just mentioned is probably like, I don't know, Anthony, what would you regard that number one or number two as far as like his lead guitar work on an album, that one or maybe the live album, right? I don't know.
What's the album called?
It's called Fish Rising.
Okay.
And I don't think Dave Stewart's name is in there. I think he goes by something else. Like Pierre Morlaine goes by like Moonweed or something. They all have nicknames on the album. It's pretty hilarious. It's very proggy, geeky, psyche. It's it's of the time.
A lot of good jam and a lot of good guitar solos and riffs and things. It's
okay.
Pretty good stuff.
I will check it out.
So you got to check out Jack. You got to check out King Crimson Red. Not to change the topic, that will blow your mind. That is heavy. It's the heaviest thing I've ever heard them do.
And if you like that, then listen to Lark's Tongues and Aspic.
Oh, King Crimson Red. That has John Wetton as the vocalist.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Crimson.
Dare I say, if you enjoy that might send you down a King Crimson rabbit hole that you won't come out of.
Okay. I mean, I enjoyed the first album, but again, like I said, it's my comfort zone, and you know what? This is a great. There you go.
Just to show you how much King Crimson I've been listening to lately.
Just a little props to Jamie for coming up with this idea. It's a great way to bring us all out of our comfort zones.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's another way to discover new music and talk about it. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. So Jack, the question for you, would you consider buying Con, or would you maybe just listen to it online every now and then, or would you?
I would listen to it online every now and again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I'm not as big of a collector as you, obviously. And these days, the sad part about it is I don't even have a freaking CD player in my car. So everything has to be through Bluetooth. So yeah, I know it's a pain in the ass, but also, I don't know if Anthony knows, my wife and I purchased a second home upstate, and I've been up there every weekend since like early June. And last night it's a good time for me to listen to music. So I actually gave some spins to the new KK's Priest. I listened to Senjutsu once again. And then somebody wrote into Butch's online group on Facebook, talking about the new Yes album. And that person, I agree with him. It was a little bit of a snoozer. I don't know what you thought of it, but
I don't have it's the CD release got delayed till the 15th, so I'll be getting that fairly soon. But I've heard like 2 or 3 tracks from it. One I really liked a lot. One was pretty good. The other I didn't like at all. So I don't know. I don't have high expectations, but I'm going to give it a go like I always do.
Right. Well, it's been released to Spotify. So
it's the digital version is available. Yeah.
But it left me longing for more. And actually, you know what? This album by Khan, I thought was so much better.
Oh yeah, I can tell you with pretty much 100% certainty that Khan will be infinitely better than the whole of the new Yes album, even though I've only heard a couple tracks. Yeah, that's no brainer there. Now, Jack, if you haven't heard the new, it's been out for a few months, but the new Halloween is quite good as well.
Oh, okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah. Cool. All right, there we have it. So we have two thumbs up in the middle where they're going to continue to listen to these and stream them. No purchases today, but that's okay. You never know in time, right? So I want to thank Anthony and Jack for doing their homework assignments and giving each other like you mentioned, two albums that were completely outside of what they normally listen to. And I think that's kind of the point of doing something like this, is to bring some focus and awareness to an album or a type of music that maybe you don't listen to on a regular basis, and give it a week or two and see what you think, right? So I know I'm set up on one of these too over the next couple of weeks with Rick Labonte. So he's given me an album that I've never listened to before.
That should be interesting.
By an artist that I know very well and like a lot of his early stuff, but have not listened to anything he's done in like a million years. So this will
no spoilers today.
No spoilers today. Nope, no
Okay.
spoilers. So yeah, and I gave him something that he has never listened to either. So yeah,
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's coming up. We've also got, I believe, next week, if the scheduling works according to plan, we've got Jim Bakke and Lynn Versace going head to head in next week's episode. So stay tuned for that and many more. We've got, I've got these episodes lined up through almost close to the end of the year. So we've got plenty of them happening. All sorts of good contestants that are matched up together. So I'm looking forward to these. These are.
I was actually pleasantly surprised that I was picked like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I think, is it the 6th episode? I think there's the 6th episode.
Something like that. Yeah,
like that,
I'm thinking, when is he going to get around to me? Is it going to be in October? Is it going to be December?
Well, it's hard because we only run these once a week, and we've got so many people on the channel that I want to match up together. So everybody's like patiently waiting for their turn. So, but yeah, what I've done is I've kind of put everybody together, and we've got like this long schedule. So it's just a matter of getting everybody scheduled out.
Well, here's a dumb question. After you get through everybody, could we have a second go? Because this
oh hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, Jamie's already gone twice. So yeah. Oh yeah. No, you'll be matched up with someone else going forward. Okay. That's going to be the trick, is to match people. I mean, we already have one rematch happening. So that's Stephen Reed and Simon Bray are going head to head again, because that first one was just absolutely epic. So we decided to pair them up together again. Plus they're in the UK, so that the scheduling is just a little bit easier. Right. But yeah, no, we're going to be mixing and matching everybody going forward. So I mean, I'm actually even toying with the idea of maybe running this show twice a week, because it is so much fun and we have so many matchups to do, that rather than have everybody wait for months for their second go around, we do like twice a week. So that's I'm kind of thinking about that right now. So yeah.
Okay.
So
good to know.
So cool. So for everybody watching, please list your feedback and opinions below on Blood of the Nations by Accept, as well as Con Space Shanty, two completely different albums, prog and heavy metal, and put them in the comments below, and stay tuned for another episode next week. I want to thank Jack and Anthony for doing this. This was lots of fun, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned next Sunday for another episode of Album Homework Assignment. Till then, for Anthony Ferraro and for Anthony Ferraro and Jack Toledano, I am Pete Pardo.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody.
Guys.
See you real soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.